LiveScope.
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 Garmin Panoptix LiveScope. It's the talk of the fishing world. Winner of the Best of Category for Electronics at ICAST 2018. This new technology is revolutionizing the way we fish.
You know, Garmin, they've always been, since they jumped on the scene, ahead of the curve as far as technology and innovation. And LiveScope is so cool because it shows you extreme amount of detail.
I mean, I thought Panoptix couldn't get any better, but when you add LiveScope and the fact that you're basically taking a 2D image now and turning it into 3D, it is unbelievable. I mean, to be able to look down at boulders and trees and see the fish moving around those trees and boulders, it's just unbelievable. It's absolutely going to change the game of fishing.
The regular Panoptix that I've used forever versus the new Panoptix LiveScope is, again, high definition. So here's your traditional Panoptix, again, which I've caught so many fish on. You can see the bottom, you can see the fish and the bait swimming out in front of the boat, but you look at the targets, still great targets, right? Still very useful. Here's some targets here. These are 2 fish coming off this ledge. These are great returns, but when you compare it to the LiveScope now, look at the bottom and look at the individual fish. You can see the shape of the fish. This is unbelievable technology. I can't fish without it. It's really something special. So the Garmin Panoptix LiveScope is the real deal.
I look back on the first time we took this unit out, Clark and I went out with it. We just really were struggling to find fish offshore, but we finally found a bunch of little fish alongside a dam. And you know, first time we'd ever had it out on the water. And neither Clark and I are what I would call forward-looking fishermen. We're not vertical fishermen that much. We'll do it, we understand it, but we really like to look ahead. But with the new LiveScope, I mean, all of a sudden here we were fishing vertically.
You know, we just got this LiveScope on and we're used to Panoptix, and so a lot of this is just kind of a learning curve for us, Wade. And what we're seeing is, first thing we figured out is you really can see your bait really well. I mean, it doesn't matter where your bait is, the cone's pretty big, so if your bait's a little bit left or a little bit right, you can see it really well. Yep. And then those fish, what I'm amazed is how quick they're moving. They're moving around. Now, we're not getting many bites, but you can see the fish clearly.
Clearly, I mean, everything that's going on, and it's like you're learning a new technique, a new way to fish for the first time. I mean, this is brand new, straight out of the box to us. So, pretty interesting. Very powerful tool as far as making a guy that doesn't do this kind of fishing really, all of a sudden gain confidence in it and an understanding of what's going on. Look at him. It's like, got him! Yeah, it just tells you, when you look at what we're looking at down there and the size, I mean, this is educational because we're learning, you know, what each one of these sizes of fish are gonna look like. And I go back to my ice fishing adventure, and we're sitting there and we're dropping on the traditional Panoptix and the way you could watch them swim over. And now with LiveScope, I mean, if you can see the fins on fish this size and how they're reacting and chasing your bait up, can you imagine when we find something that's real?
That's amazing.
I mean, this is, I don't want to say cheating because you still got to make them bite and you still got to pick the right stuff, but wow.
First of all, whenever you get LiveScope, it is not intimidating. There's really 3 things that I really adjust and things like that. First of all, you can see here the scale on the top. Right now we're at 70 feet. This is how far forward we're looking. Down we're at 22. This unit's set on auto, so it's going to change based on the depth that you're fishing on. Most times I say day in and day out, I run mine on 80. That's a good long cast. You know, if I see a brush pile or something like that, then I know I can make a cast and land in it. Probably the biggest thing that I adjust is the gain. You know, that's the sensitivity. And it's going to change based on the type of bottom you're on. If you're on a mud bottom or a dirt bottom, you're going to be able to run the sensitivity a lot higher. You know, with the rock and being a lot harder, that signal is being returned from the rock, so you're going to want to run it, you know, quite a bit lower. Really, other than that, that's all you do. We can go in here and look, forward range, depth range. I mean, the depth range is on auto in the game. Other than that, it's really that simple. You just point and shoot, really.
Following this quick break, we'll continue to look at Garmin Panoptix LiveScope. The detail and definition is unreal. You won't want to miss a second of it.
As people who love the outdoors, we know what we stand for. We stand for fish, wildlife, and conserving the places they call home. We stand for the traditions we inherited and that we must pass on. We stand for great gear, fair prices, expert service, and memorable experiences. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we stand together for you.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance.
YAMAHA Outboards. Reliability starts here.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder. And by YAMAHA Marine. Reliability starts here.
The key word for LiveScope, and I think it's the key word in fishing, whether you're a tournament fisherman or a weekend fisherman, it makes me a lot more efficient. I'm able to move a lot faster and cover so much more water and know exactly what's down there.
Now with like LiveScope, it's going to be so detailed. I could tell by looking on that graph if those are bass or other species, catfish, or a lot of these other what we consider trash fish that are not non-target species. Now I'm going to be able to dial in on those bass.
Now, see, so what we're telling ourselves is the dots that we're seeing, the sides of them. That's part of the education process.
Part of the education, and these are 13-inch fish, but we've had several bites and missed them and finally got this one in.
One of the coolest things about LiveScope that we didn't have with the original Panoptix is a little feature called trails. So we go into our sonar setup, go into appearance, you have the trails feature right here. We have it off. When you turn it on fast, it's going to create almost a little comet trail, little tail right on the back, so when those fish are moving across your screen, they jump out at you. When you're sitting stationary, you can see them right there moving around. When you put it on fast, that trail disappears. We have 3 different settings. You can go slow or a medium or a fast. The slow, the trails are going to last a little longer, but when you're scanning around, you're fishing, and you look down, it's going to make it really obvious and jump out at you. The trails feature is something I'm going to use a lot going forward with the LiveScope.
Got him. Good one. Oh yeah, that's what sonar fishing is all about. I can see them all down there, good dots on the, look at that guy. That's what the old drop shot will do for you. Look at him. We're gonna have to let him go for a minute so we can get him hooked back up. There we go. Good old fish right there. Hook just like you want. When you get out here fishing the sonar, looking at them on the drop shot, we've got our Panoptix going on the LiveScope. We literally can see the dots everywhere down there. We're gonna drop right back down on them again. And when you can see them, you put a bait in front of them, they'll bite it. Look at him. See ya. It's a good fish. This is the most impressive tool I've ever seen in electronic sonar fishing. I mean, you get this in the hands of guys that understand all this type of fishing. I mean, and the fish are out. I don't know how you beat them. You can see everything.
An entirely new species of extreme predator is moving offshore. The YAMAHA 5.6-liter V8 XTO offshore outboard. Extreme big block thrust and power in the industry's first direct injection 4-stroke. Quiet, efficient, powerful, and proven YAMAHA reliability. More than an outboard, it's a fully integrated power system. The all-new YAMAHA V8 XTO Offshore.
You sons of fishes. Ain't enough fish on this lake for 2 clubs.
Really? Well, we see plenty of fish live with Panoptix.
Yep. Dang, we should get Panoptix. Maybe we'll just take yours.
What's going on here? You boys have license?
Yes, sir.
Nope.
There he is.
Oh, I got it.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. ENGER, the original high-performance cooler. Sunline America, the strength to guarantee your confidence. And by Bradley Smoker, food smoking made easy. Garmin Panoptix and Panoptix LiveScope are two of the most revolutionary technological advancements the fishing industry has seen in a long time. Garmin has made it their goal to evolve and find innovative ways to separate their product from the competitors. Another area where you see this innovation is with mapping. Features such as depth range shading provide great detail, allowing you, the angler, to better locate fish.
Another cool feature, as you can see up on this unit right here, is the depth shading. This is another key feature that I love about the Garmin HD map card. As you can see, you got 3 different colors, the red, yellow, and the green. You can set those for whatever depths that you'd like. And if you're on a bite where they're on offshore high spots, or if you're on a bite where you think the fish are gonna be back of pockets, but you need a certain depth in the back of those pockets, again, you can just simply zoom in on that map. Okay, yeah, it's about 10 foot in the back of this creek right here. Put a waypoint, go to the next one, and then run spot to spot to spot. You're not wasting a lot of time idling around, driving around the lake, looking for that particular depth. You can just run straight to it. And so that's another key feature with that mapping. Not that good. He just mad.
They're all mad. Like it. I'm on a moving bait. We just hadn't seen a lot of that today.
There's your pre-spawn.
There she is.
Fat girl, right there.
I mean, that just makes all the sense in the world.
Pre-spawn, healthy. Out here getting that last snack before she go drop those eggs. Thank you, sweetheart.
I noticed when we came through here earlier, I was looking at the mapping, and I could see like just all the different colors where we had a little edge coming up here. That's why I wanted to come back through here. You caught that fish right where all those colors come together on the depth shading. And a lot of times you can look at your electronics and what may look like just kind of an old nothing bay or a pocket or flat, and you'll be able to find subtle depth changes when you use your mapping and can color it and shade your depths. And in some of those situations I'll do 0 to 5, but if I'm really, really focused on a color, or a depth I should say, I may change my colors every 2 feet so that I can really define where the depth changes are and the little subtle bends in the depth changes, because they can be all the difference in getting a bite and not getting a bite. And you can even, in some of these lakes that haven't been mapped as much, you can use your electronics to create your own map. There he is. Got him that time. Come here, fish. Oh yeah. Coming up. Little bitty guy. You know, and that's all the difference of being able to look at your mapping and your sonar to kind of determine, you know, where the bend in the creek is, to where that little slight subtle depth change may be. And that can make all the difference in where a group of fish will set up, you know, especially in those times of the year where they're big groups of them are moving back to spawn and you're looking for a little depth change or a little staging area where they're all going to be.
With the Garmin mapping today, the end user has the ability to set up different depth ranges for caution, for different depths for finding fish at certain depths, different times of the year. And I actually have a system that I go through to set up 4 colored depths on every graph. We're going to go into chart and depth. And here we're actually going to go into our depth shading. Okay, and we're going to set up a new depth range. Okay, and again, I'm going to do my first depth range first, and I'm going to make that color be red. I'm going to do the minimum depth on that range to 0. Then I'm going to do the max depth to that at 0.5. So what we have is the red color is going to note 0 from 5 foot range on my depth. Okay, and I'm going to back out of that, and I'm going to set another depth range. We're going to go back to color, and here I'll do a green, go back to minimum, and here I'll take up right where we left off on the other one. We'll go 0.6, done. And we're going to take that to a maximum of 11 feet. Done. So this one's going to give us a range from 6 to 11 feet. Back. We're going to set another one. And see how contrasting these 2 colors are? We're going to do the same thing for the next one. I'll do an orange for the next one. So we're going to go, our minimum depth here is going to be 12 foot, and our max is going to be 17 feet. Done. Okay. What that gives us is 0 to 5, 6 to 11, 12 to 17. We'll go ahead and do one more depth in here. I'll make it be yellow, and we'll go 18. And this one I'm going to set a little wider span on it. We'll go up to 25. Okay, so if I want to see everything I have, right here they are. And it shows me how contrasting those colors are to each other and exactly what the depth is on them.
And coming up on the Fisherman's Handbook, we move shallow and focus on fishing submerged grass. Find out how having high-quality electronics can help you better target these areas.
You got that, yo, Daddy. One of my favorite ways to fish.
Secrets are created to protect information, but keeping a secret is not as easy as it seems. For over a decade, anglers across the nation have used secret lures tackle to reel in their catch. From small ponds to large bodies of water and tour-level events, the secret to their success has been tied to the end of their line all along. They've been using secret lures. First you've heard of them? Maybe your fishing buddies aren't really your buddies. Visit secretlures.com and place your order today.
Going down after Daddy. That's a better one. Good fish right there.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by SAWYER Products. We keep you outdoors. Hobie Fishing, Mirage Drive Pedal Systems, and by Power Pole Shallow Water Anchors. Swift, silent, secure. One of the misconceptions about electronics and bass fishing is that this technology is only useful when fishing offshore structure or for presenting baits vertically. This couldn't be further from the truth. Electronics play a key role in all different types of scenarios. For example, when targeting bass in submerged grass, your depth finder can help you locate the holes in the grass and irregularities where fish will position.
So what I'm doing is I'm using electronics. Here's a great example. You can see the ditch right there. There's the top of the grass, how it drops off right there and then flattens off. So I'm looking at my traditional sonar, my mapping, and how my colors are set up so that I can find a little deeper drain, a little deeper stretch to stay in to throw this jerk bait across it. And then as I get in there using Panoptix to try to identify gaps in the holes in front of me, out 40, 50, 100 feet, so that I can you know, target those with cast, go down, twitch, and then pause that jerk bait in there. That's a big one. That's gonna be a big one right there. He took line, he took off. No, he's in the grass. Oh yeah, there's a good one. And he's got a face full of hooks. Come here. Boy, you mean. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about. There's a fat one. I mean, he crushed that old jerkbait out there right in the middle of the drain. Pliers again. On a straight pause. Boom! I mean, it's warming up. Water temperatures came up about 1 degree now. That may be making a difference on why these fish are hitting it a little harder this morning. You know, they were barely just ticking every bait we threw. A lot better there.
You know, we're out here flipping this grass that's under the surface offshore, and some of it you can visually see, and some of it you can't. So I set up my Garmin units to help me find those clumps of grass that you can't visually see. So I'm out here and I'm pitching these clumps, and I look and say, like, there's a clump right here that's 10 feet over in front of me, and I'm looking in the water and I can't see it. But I know it's there because I've got side imaging on my Garmin unit. And I see that it's 5 feet away, and if my trolling motor's pointing the direction it is right now, it's to the right of where the transducer is. So I'm gonna pitch out there about 10 feet away, and that's exactly where that clump's gonna be, and I'm gonna hit it every time. So just a quick view of when I'm out here flipping this offshore grass, how I use my Garmin units to do it. And I use my track lines on the mapping unit down here to keep track of where I'm at, where I've already fished, and new places to go to. There we go. That's what you're looking for, flipping them mats. Grown one. You got that, yo daddy. One of my favorite ways to fish.
Sky's the limit for a company like Garmin. I have no clue what they might come up with next, but I can tell you what, whatever they decide to do next, it's gonna be very innovative, and it's gonna continue to help the fishing industry, and it's gonna continue to help professionals like myself catch more fish.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Fisherman's Handbook. This has been a Carico TV production.
At Sawyer, we use the best technology to make simple products that keep you going regardless of your journey. So whether you're boating, hiking, fishing, camping, or hunting, we keep you outdoors with a full lineup of products to both protect you and make the outdoors more enjoyable. Sawyer, we keep you outdoors.
This tube is the greatest thing in the world. When you're catching fish on it, it builds your confidence. To me, that's the most important part of bass fishing, is you have to have confidence in this bait when we're throwing it.
I've had guys say, you fish like you believe there's a fish there. Well, I do. I'm feeling everything that I can feel with that bait.
If you need to get bites, it'll just absolutely get bit.
Here at Big Bite Baits, we've got a big line of different plastics, and they're all a tool, so you want to have them with you all the time.
I made several checks in crowded areas flipping that right there. Just a 6-inch Big Bite creek-tail worm.
Here at Big Bite, we came out with 4 brand new colors this year. All 4 of these colors are going to be great fish catching baits.
Definitely my #1 go-to bait that Big Bite has out right now is the Big Bite Battle Bug.
Big Bite is leading the way when it comes to innovation and colors.
Many said that we were just obsessed when we started.
that there had to be an easier way to smoke food. As time passed, the Bradley family created a lineup of Bradley electric smokers that has made it easier for the novice or even expert chef to get perfect results every time they use it. Grab yourself a Bradley smoker and take your cooking to an all-new level.
We demand a lot from the products that we use on our adventures around the world. When it comes to keeping things seriously cold, we rely on Angle coolers, who have for over 50 years kept things cold. Angle coolers, the original high-performance cooler.
Tired of forgetting to set a recording or missing the latest episode of your favorite outdoors show? Check out Outdoor Action today. Never miss a second of shows like Americana Outdoors, Cabela's Fisherman's Handbook, and Whitetail Diaries. All of this at the press of a button, without a subscription fee required. Start watching your favorite shows when you want to watch them by going to OutdoorAction.com or through the Outdoor Action channel on any Roku device.